The students are back, and there's a lot of them. Another record year for exam results, meaning a record number of students getting the grades for their first choice course.
The miracle of vacuum pack.
With lives loaded into the boots of cars, moving out and moving away won't be the only firsts for tens of thousands of teenagers this week. What are you imagining the next few days are going to be like?
Crazy.
After university open days went virtual last year, Rosa has never been to Leeds before. She's about to move into halls with flatmates she's never met. How are you feeling?
Okay, a bit stressed. I think I feel better once I meet everyone and I know they're all normal and all nice. Yay! We have to do all the induction things. I forgot that in Freshers Week you actually had to do like induction things. It wasn't just going out. Like, I genuinely thought you just turned up and went out, and then I got an email being like, oh yeah, you've got induction at 9 AM. I was like, oh God, do we? But I don't know what anything is. I've never been to Leeds before. I don't know how. No, because it's all online, like all the taster thingies, all online. So I don't know what anything is.
It's all just been so just stab in the dark, just look online and pick one, and now she's here.
It does actually look and feel a lot like a pre-COVID Freshers Week. And this side of student life, the extracurricular activities, is pretty much, I think, back to normal. But it's not the case for all aspects of student life, with a significant amount of their time learning still being done remotely.
That's easier on some courses than others, and it's not just medicine and sciences taught in labs where being on site matters. At Leeds Beckett, one of 5 universities in this city, the third-year dance students are already being taught in a new studio, in an arts building so new it's not yet been officially opened. Dr. Mark Flisher told me across the whole university sector there's a need to play catch-up on missed face-to-face time.
The students are excited and the academic team are excited. So I think for me, for being here at this moment in time, it's there's an energy that is quite phenomenal in terms of the type of work that might come out of this building at this time after such a difficult 15 months.
Was there some frustration? Is there still frustration now because things aren't entirely back to 100% face-to-face?
Yeah, I think the whole sector is struggled. We've had to have very honest conversations with people about why some practices were had less face-to-face than they might usually do. But you know, the academic team and the students went beyond that and worked incredibly hard to make this work. So you know, I think the sector generally, the university sector, has made had to make some tough choices.
A record year for results has had a downside for some students. With too many making the grade, on some courses in Leeds, there was an offer of £10,000 to wait 12 months. The same problem had another outcome in York, with some first years given accommodation in Hull with buses to get between. According to Aisha Burton at the Leeds University Union, the last year has shown why students must be heard in the future.
I think there's residual frustration from just the general treatment of students and how we were left out of communications from the government consistently throughout the pandemic, and that was something that really informed my campaign into this role. And fee refunds is something that I am working on for the future and looking to lobby the government for.
Freshers Week, nightclubs open and queues round the block for cut-priced shots. They're not the first, they won't be the last. But they're also teenagers, missing friends, dogs, girlfriends, boyfriends, and even mums, while trying to figure out life.
Claire Fallon there, and I'm joined now by Professor Peter Slee, the Vice-Chancellor of Leeds Beckett University, where we are, and by Stephanie McCauley, a third-year student in the business school here at Leeds Beckett. Welcome to you both. Vice-Chancellor, you've got thousands of students coming back to your university, to the city. I know it's a challenging period. Do you think that university education has changed forever?
No, I don't think it's changed forever. I think what we're going to see this year is retaining the best of what we learned over the last very difficult 18 months, but also returning to all of the things that we've missed over the last 18 months. If I tell you, for instance, that between now and Christmas, we'll be running over 42,000 sessions for our students of different types. 85% of those in laboratories, in clinics, in studios. We couldn't do those last year and the year before, as I'm sure Stephanie will tell you. And be able to bring those back is just joyful for all of us.
Yeah. Stephanie, tell us what it was like. Nearly 2 years of disrupted learning. I know you're delighted to be back now. What was it like, though?
It was quite a struggle. I don't feel as though I felt as excited for university as I did my first year. It was completely different, and it was really difficult, I felt, at least, to learn, because I'm definitely someone who learns a lot quicker and better speaking face-to-face. So I'm really excited to come back to university, and hopefully everything can be back to normal again. Yeah.
You've got Stephanie being very kind and very reasonable here, but you know that some students are very angry at the idea that they haven't had enough face-to-face teaching. And I don't just mean here in Leeds, I mean across the country. Some student unions say that they deserve refunds. What do you have to say to those students who are feeling cheated out of a university education that they think they deserve?
I understand, I think we all do, the frustrations of students during this period where they haven't been able to attend, in many cases, in person, where they've missed being with their fellow students. And as I've said before, some of the modes of learning that they've been used to, we haven't simply been able to offer them. However, what we have done is, I think, to be able to adapt to, as you said earlier, an unprecedented crisis. And we have been able to help our students to progress and, in some cases, to graduate in their studies with the full learning outcomes that they would have expected. They've had to learn to be resilient and adaptive as we have. And I think over time, the benefits of that will come through for all students.
You don't support calls for refunding parts of tuition fees or anything like that?
No, I think that all universities were able to deliver, by one form or another, the learning outcomes that we promised our students. And those students haven't had to mark time for 18 months. They've been able to progress in their lives and go on now to employment.
Stephanie, university staff are being balloted on strike action by their union. How do you feel at the prospect of potentially lecturers and other staff going on strike and causing more disruption?
That definitely does scare me, because I feel as though a lot of students like myself just want to go back to university and just want to do everything again and kind of catch up on what we missed before. I missed my whole second year of university, so that's kind of scary in a way. It's something that, yeah.
I mean, you're hearing her fears here. The pressure really is on Vice-Chancellors like yourself. How have you ended up in a situation where many university staff and lecturers feel so unhappy with pay and working conditions that they feel the need to talk about strikes?
Well, the union, as you know, have today decided to call a strike ballot, and it's over three things, really. Firstly, it's over pay, and we're part of a national collective bargaining system, and so universities offer what collectively we can all afford. The pay rise is 1.5 to, in some cases, 3.6%. We think that when that's compared to what other public sector workers, and particularly those in health, are getting, that feels like a good settlement for all of us. Secondly, there are some colleagues who are concerned about changes to their pension scheme. It doesn't affect many colleagues here in our university, but in others it does. And I think those adjustments, to my mind, from the outside, are necessary to preserve the benefits for staff. And then thirdly, there are discussions about other forms of working conditions, and those are local agreements. We're engaged in discussions with our own unions here, and I'm sure that we can work through to a satisfactory conclusion, and that Stephanie and our other students will be fine throughout the year.
But there are ongoing challenges, I think it's fair to say. Professor Peter Slee and Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us.